What's going on, guys? It's Andy here. Welcome back to the Andy Kandola Show. So in today's video, I am going to share with you guys how easy it is as a beginner to go ahead and get started with M1 Finance. Now, if you are new to investing, I highly recommend that you watch this video because I believe M1 Finance is one of the best apps out there and one of the best platforms to go ahead and trade with as a beginner, as an intermediate, or as an advanced investor. Now, here's the thing. While Robinhood has been hit lately, Robinhood basically had a lawsuit filed against them for $65 million by the SEC for misleading users and basically misleading how they go about making money. This is making Robinhood look bad, as well as Robinhood is actually changing the way that they're actually letting investors go ahead and invest, because Robinhood recently just announced that you cannot invest in REITs with Robinhood, and those are basically real estate investment trust. So Robinhood is under a lot of fire lately, and that's why, guys, I want to go ahead and share with you guys how to go about investing with M1 Finance. I will also give you guys an update on this portfolio as we go through the video, but I'm going to go ahead and share with you guys all the different tabs that M1 Finance basically has and how to go about setting up your portfolio if you're just starting off with investing. Now, I will say with M1 Finance, this is a long-term investing portfolio. If you're a short-term trader or you're a day trader, you cannot buy and sell out of a stock during the same day. And if you're looking at trading options or futures, you actually cannot do that with M1 Finance. This platform is really designed for long-term investors that are basically looking to go ahead and buy and hold a stock for at least 1 year. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. And I will also say that if you are looking to invest in the stock market, invest at your own risk. I do believe that the market is currently overvalued and that we might see a correction. In this last week, the stock market and the Dow Jones just hit their 52 weeks high. The Dow Jones is currently trading at over 30,000, meaning that they've hit their all-time highs at this point. So dollar cost average is what I like to do when you're investing in the stock market. Now, in regards to M1 Finance, guys, let's go ahead and jump through all of these different tabs. If we go ahead and look at the top here, you can go ahead and invest through the Invest tab. There's also the Spend tab, where you can actually have a spend account with M1 Finance. There's the Borrow tab, where you can actually borrow a certain percentage out of your total allocation with M1 Finance. Then you can go ahead and do research, create pies, look at different stocks here within the research tab, and then there's the transfer tab that basically will show you your overall total investment in your portfolio, which combines all your investment portfolios as well as how much you have in your spend account, which is basically like a checkings account with M1 Finance. Now, the nice thing with M1 Finance is that you actually do not pay anything for trades. So every single trade is $0. Basically, it's free to go ahead and buy or sell a stock with M1 Finance. Now, in the beginning, when you go ahead and set up M1 Finance, you will go ahead and have a basic account. But if you want to go ahead and upgrade to the Plus account, you will get some of these additional perks that I shared with you guys. Basically, here's the differences, guys. With a basic account, as far as the cost goes, there's no cost, but you do not get an M1 spend account with the basic account. Now, additionally, you don't get the borrow account as well, so you actually don't get to go ahead and borrow any funds from your account. And also, because M1 Finance has 2 trading windows that you can go ahead and invest in, and I'll go ahead and get into that a little bit further when we go ahead and look at the invest account, you can actually only trade with 1 trading window with a basic account. So the basic account is totally free. Now, in my case, when I went ahead and started off, I did go ahead and start off with a basic account, but eventually, once I got to about $25,000 in this portfolio, I did go ahead and upgrade it to the Plus account. Now, in regards to the Plus account, the Plus account is $125 for the whole year. But the nice thing with the Plus account is that you do get a checkings account with that, where you can actually go ahead and get 2% back. Now, you get 1% back for any balance that you have in your checkings account with M1 Finance. And then additionally, if we go ahead and use your debit card for the M1 spend account, you'll get an additional 1% back. Plus, there's no fees with the M1 spend account. It's basically like having a checkings account. There's no fees with the account, and then you can earn up to 2% cash back. As far as ATM fees, you are covered for ATM fees 4 times per month. So if, let's say you use a different bank's ATM to go ahead and withdraw money, you can actually withdraw your money and not have any fees. Additionally, guys, the nice thing is with the M1 Plus account, you can actually borrow money at a 2% interest, but your portfolio minimum balance has to be $10,000. And actually, now that I see this, with the basic account, you can actually have an M1 borrow account, but to borrow money, you are paying 3.5%. And then lastly, with the M1 Finance Plus account, you do have 2 trading windows that you can actually go ahead and trade with. So just to show you guys all of these different perks in the membership details, but these are are all the different perks here, guys, that I just went ahead and shared with you guys. So that's basically as far as the fees and the differences between the plus account. As we can tell here, I do have the plus account. Plus, if we go ahead and look at the borrow, it shows that I have 2% that I can borrow at. And then if we look at the spend, this is how much I'm earning, is 1% APY on my balances. So I am getting some interest. So if we look here, every single month, I'm getting, $14, $12, $11, I guess, in interest every single month. And then if you use your debit card, which is free to go ahead and get, you can also earn 1% cash back. But now jumping into the main tab here, which is going to be the invest tab. Now within invest, you can look at your portfolio, you can look at your activity, holdings, and then funding history. And the way I basically have this portfolio split up is I have it split up into different slices. Now with M1 Finance, you can have it set up however you want. You can actually have all your stocks right in your portfolio that you go ahead and build. Or you can go ahead and build these pies. And when you go ahead and build a pie, you can actually have it separated into different pies. And the way I've done it is I've broken this up into 11 different pies for the 11 different S&P sectors, plus I have a growth pie for all my growth stocks. So in total, I have 12 pies here. I have the technology, growth, real estate, communication services, financials, consumer discretionary, consumer staples, industrials, utilities, healthcare, materials, and energy. So these are the 11 different sectors plus the growth pie. And as I shared with you guys, as far as the two trading windows are every morning when the market opens at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time or at 3 p.m. Eastern time. And if you have the plus account, you'll know right from looking at this that with the plus account, you can trade at 3 p.m. as well as in the morning. But if you don't have the plus account, you can only trade, and you have one window that you can basically go ahead and buy or sell stocks, which is going to be 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. Now I do have a couple different trades that I'm buying here, so that's why if you look here, it's showing us that there's going to be upcoming trades. I have a pending order to basically go ahead and buy $250 of my bucket list portfolio. But here's the thing, guys, once you go ahead and create different slices or you have different stocks, you can actually go ahead and have target allocations next to each one of your slices. That will actually equate to 100%. So if we look at the overall target allocations, all these target allocations will go ahead and denominate to 100%. So if I go ahead and just click on edit, right here, it will show me that I have a total allocation of 100% within all these pies combined. And these are the overall target allocations that I have for each one of these pies. I mean, I can go ahead and change this. Let's say I change that to 22%. We'll see here that it says total 99%. So overall, this always has to equal 100%. And then within each pie, you actually have to go ahead and allocate how much you want towards every single stock. So if we just look at the target allocations in my technology sector, so within the pie, you can go ahead and add different stocks. So within the technology sector, these are the 5 stocks. These are the target allocations. But again, if I go ahead and click on edit, you can tell right here that the total pie does need to go ahead and equal 100%. And the nice thing with this is that you can actually go ahead and set up automatic deposits and automatic purchases of stocks within your portfolio. So let's just say that I wanted to go ahead and place a buy order for this technology sector. I can go ahead and place a buy order, and it will actually go ahead and, based on the target allocations, invest according to that into these different stocks. So hopefully that made sense. That's basically in general how I have this portfolio split up into the different pies and the different stocks. Now I will show you guys how to go ahead and create a pie and how to go about adding different stocks to the pie. But before we go ahead and get into that, that's going to be under the research tab. I want to go ahead and show you guys the other tabs before we go ahead and get into the research tab. But right here, guys, on the main screen in the portfolio, we can go ahead and see my cash balances on the right hand side. We can go ahead and deposit money right here. We'll see the current total value in the pie, see the total gains, the total returns, the earned dividends, and the market gains as well. Now, if we go ahead and go to activity, this will basically go ahead and show me all the activity every single day. If I'm getting dividends, it will go ahead and show me the dividends. If I'm placing buy orders, and once the order is filled, it will go ahead and basically log everything right into the activity. And you can have the activity sorted out if you just want to see all the dividends. These are basically all the dividends that I got in the last week. So we can tell here I got a dividend from Waste Management, from Lind, from Home Depot, Duke Energy, and so on from there. So that's nice because you can actually go ahead and look at different activity here based on just what you want to go ahead and see. Now, additionally, when we go to the holdings, this is basically going to go ahead and show us all the different positions that I have in this portfolio. Now, currently, I hold 44 positions. So if you want to go ahead and just see all the holdings, because when you go to the portfolio tab and you have it broken up into different pies and different slices, you won't be able to see all your holdings. And the only way you can actually do that is by clicking on each one of these pies. But if you just go ahead and go to holdings, you can see all the different holdings right here, and you can go ahead and sort this by the total value. Right now it's currently sorted by the total value, and basically I have the most invested in Apple. You can actually go ahead and sort it by unrealized gains. So basically I made the most money so far from Apple, then Disney, then TD, and so on from there. So there's different ways to go ahead and sort this. You can sort it by shares, by average price, etc. So this is a nice way to actually go ahead and see all your stocks. And then funding history is basically going to go ahead and show us how much I funded into this account in this last year. Basically it's showing that I had a deposit of $82,000 in this portfolio and withdrawals for $1,610 in this portfolio. So this is a nice easy way to go ahead and see your funding history. And now just to show you guys the other tab here on the right side, basically you can have different portfolios. I have my bucket list portfolio, which is my dividend growth plus my growth portfolio, but this is my active trading portfolio that I focus on in every single video. And then I do have a Roth IRA. The nice thing with the Roth IRA is this is my long-term portfolio basically for retirement, but you can only invest a certain amount every single year in the Roth IRA. Currently the distribution is $6,000 a year. So if I just showed you guys the funding history for the Roth IRA, I basically maxed the Roth IRA. So I did go ahead and deposit $6,000 in the Roth IRA in 2020. So that's a nice thing because you can have retirement accounts set up, you can have different portfolios, you can have a traditional IRA set up, you can have a growth portfolio, you can have a dividends portfolio. So you can have multiple different portfolios, and you can basically go ahead and add portfolios right from here. But now just jumping back to the bucket list portfolio, the next tab that I'm going to go ahead and show you guys is basically the spend tab. Now in regards to the spend, I briefly went over this already, but basically you can go ahead and use this as like a checkings account. You can use your debit card to do purchases. You do get 1% cash back on purchases that you make, and then any money that you have within the spend account, you do earn 1% APY. So that's pretty simple. That's basically another perk of having this M1 Finance portfolio is you can have money sitting on the sidelines that you maybe don't want to invest, that you want to just keep in cash or keep for a rainy day. So that's going to be the spend tab. Additionally, now is going to be the borrow tab. Now the nice thing with this is, let's say that you need money, and let's say that there's an emergency that you need to go ahead and get money. You don't have to go ahead and sell your positions at a loss, or let's say that you just want to keep your positions invested. You can actually go ahead and borrow a certain amount based on how much you have in your portfolio. Now currently I'm eligible based on my portfolio size for $30,900 at a 2% interest rate. Now as far as going in margin, guys, I hate to go ahead and borrow money to go ahead and invest. So I would highly recommend never to borrow money and trade on margin. Only borrow what you can end of the day afford to lose. Obviously in the stock market, based on track record, you're not going to lose your money. I mean, you could lose your money, but ultimately if you're a long-term investor, you should see an average return of around 10%, but that's not concrete. That can obviously go ahead and change. That's just based on historical data. But again, for a rainy day, if you need to go ahead and borrow money, 2% interest rate is a very, very low interest rate. If you compare this to normal bank loans or even borrowing from a credit card, 2% is a very attractive rate. And I would only use this for a rainy day if you really need to go ahead and borrow money. So that's going to be the borrow option that you can actually get with M1 Finance. Now let's go ahead and go to the research tab. Now in regards to the research tab, this is basically where you go ahead and do research on different stocks or different index funds. Basically, you can go ahead and type in whatever you want or whatever ticker symbol that you want right into the search field. It will go ahead and take you to that particular stock. You can go ahead and see what the share price is of that stock, what the market did, or what the market's currently doing. This is live and active when the market is open. Because I'm recording this on the weekend, this is basically going to go ahead and show me where the market closed on December 18th at 359. It will also show me the market cap for the stock, the price to earnings ratio for that stock, and the current dividend if there is a dividend for that stock. And then I like this because the performance chart is nice. It will actually show us the last 5 days if the performance of the stock was up or down, the last month, 3 months, 2 years, 5 years. So it's nice to go ahead and just look at a different trend or to look at a different chart and actually see how much the stock went up or down in performance during that particular period. As well as, guys, if there's any news, you can go ahead and look at the different news that came out about Apple. So you can do a decent amount of research here. here. Now personally, I do like to use Seeking Alpha, and I will use CNBC as well as MarketWatch. Those are some of the sites that I like to go ahead and use to do research. You can also do research on different funds. Now here's the thing, I actually didn't go over this, but if we go to the stocks tab, you can actually go ahead and sort this by the market cap. So we can see the largest stocks as far as their market caps go, which starts with Apple and then goes down from there. You can also sort this by dividend yield, so you can see the companies that are paying out the largest dividend yields. You can also use the different filters here. You can look at the pricing history here as well, last 1 year, 2 year, 5 year. You can also look at the price to earnings ratio as well. Stocks that have the highest price to earnings ratio compared to stocks that have no price to earnings ratio. So you can definitely go ahead and do a lot of research just by some of these tabs. Now funds, same exact thing. You can see which funds have the most invested in them. You can see which funds are paying the largest in dividends. So you can do a lot of different research on funds. Now as far as creating different pies, this is actually where you go ahead and create different pies. So let's say that I wanted to go ahead and create a pie. I would go ahead and just click on create a pie. Once I go ahead and click on create a pie, then I can go ahead and start adding stocks. Let's say I want to go ahead and add a stock like let's just say Disney, for example. I can go ahead and search for Disney, add to basket, and then at the bottom click add. Now what that will do, it will actually go ahead and create a brand new pie. Now here you can go ahead and edit the name for this pie, and I'm just going to call it test, and then I can go ahead and add additional stocks right here by clicking the add button. And let's say I want to go ahead and add Apple, Microsoft, Facebook. I can go ahead and choose those, click add, and then I can go ahead and choose the target allocation for each one of these stocks. So let's say within this pie, I want to go ahead and have these 4 stocks in there, and I want to have 25% allocated, so it equals 100%. I can go ahead and have that allocated, and then I can go ahead and save this pie. And once I go ahead and save this pie, now the pie is actually ready to be added to the portfolio. So we see these are unused pies that I have right here, and the newest one is called test. So I'll show you guys when I go back to the portfolio how I can go ahead and add this test pie to my portfolio. And then additionally guys, we have expert pies. So let's say that you want to go ahead and use a pie that M1 Finance offers. You can actually go ahead and choose one of their pies as well. You can view their pie to see all the different investments and holdings that they have and how it's basically broken down, where this general investing pie is broken down into ultra conservative, and etc. different type of holdings, and then you can actually click on that particular pie and see all the different holdings that are in that pie. So that's nice because there's expert pies, and then you can also create a watch list, and if you want to have different stocks that you just want to watch, you can have a watch list created there as well. But now if we wanted to go ahead and put that pie into my portfolio, basically what you have to go ahead and do is you have to go back to the portfolio, then you have to go ahead and click the edit button in the portfolio, and then you can go ahead and add a pie or a stock right there. But basically if we go ahead and go to my pies, well, here's the test pie. We can go ahead and add this, and now we have to go ahead and allocate a certain amount that we want allocated to this pie so it equals 100%. So if I were to go ahead and add this in my portfolio, I would go ahead and choose how much I want to have target allocated towards this pie. And now because the total is at 105%, I would go ahead and have to go ahead and adjust something else here. Now obviously I'm not going to go ahead and add this test pie, so I'm going to remove it, and then we're just going to exit. But you can go ahead and save as well. Let's say if you were adding a pie there. But that's basically how you go about adding a pie to your portfolio. Now let's say that you did not want to do pies. You can actually just click edit, and you can just add stocks. Now I could have just added a stock, but because I like this portfolio broken up into different sectors, I have different sectors, and then within that sector I have the stocks. But you don't have to do that. You can just have different stocks right in your portfolio. But just to show you guys, if I were to go back to my portfolio and go back to my technology sector, now within the technology pie I can do the same thing, click edit, and then I can go ahead and add a stock right here. And let's say I wanted to go ahead and add Amazon, I can click add, and then obviously this always has to equal 100%, so I would go ahead and have to have a certain target allocation invested towards Amazon, and then I would have to reduce something else. But this is basically how you go about adding stocks and adding different pies within your portfolio once you go ahead and create your portfolio. Now I'm not going to be adding anything, so I wanted to just go ahead and make sure that I didn't add Amazon. But this is basically basically generally guys how you go about investing with M1 Finance. So guys, the last thing here is going to be the transfers tab. Basically the transfers tab just shows you overall all the different transfers that you go ahead and do. I tend to go ahead and invest about $2,000 to $3,000 a month in this portfolio. I have been going a little bit aggressive because I was trying to get my bucket list portfolio up to over $100,000, but we'll see how that goes. I still have till the end of the year, but if the market doesn't go in my favor, I'm not sure if I'm gonna get there. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do have any comments, if you wanted to know anything about M1 Finance that I did not go over in this video, go ahead and leave it down in the comments down below, and I'll be sure to go ahead and get back to you. If you are interested in M1 Finance, I will leave an affiliate link where you do get $10, but I really do hope this video was informative, guys. If you're new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe to the channel down below. And basically my goal with this channel is to be fully transparent and share with you guys every single trade that I make on a week-to-week basis within this portfolio, and we'll see where this portfolio goes over the long term. But thank you guys for watching. Until next time, I'll see you guys at the next one.